Welcome back to Wilkow. Tonight's daily digit, ready for this? 80 million. Actually, 79,229,503. But who's counting? That's the number of hours it will take for Americans and small businesses to comply with all the new tax rules from Obamacare. Now, as you know by now, the mainstream media isn't telling you both sides of the story. That's why Freedom Works and my boss, Glenn Beck, got together to launch the Blaze Action Center. It gives Americans a new approach to the facts. Not only do you get news stories, you'll get the research to back up the article's claims. Back with me are Matt Kibbe and Adam Brandon from Freedom Works. So I love numbers. I mean, we're kind of number nerds here. Would I be getting all kinds of breakdowns of the numbers and the backup in an article from this?
You get the facts, you get the talking points, and if you want to actually dig into research, you can go as deep as you want to so that you can engage your neighbors, you can engage whoever is telling you something that you're not quite buying.
You know, it seems we were just talking like Tea Party growing, Occupy shrinking, liberal media shrinking, conservative media growing, and now you're creating this action center where people can actually arm themselves with this is the best part. When you have the backup, it's not talking points or just saying, well, where'd you get that from, some conservative blog. If there's actual backup, sourced backup, it's real information.
But the other fundamental change is now we're going from just having a story, which is a very passive relationship, to you can read a story, you get fired up on that number you just mentioned, you can take action. You could send a letter to your congressman. You could send a letter to the editor. You could sign a petition. So now news is becoming two-way.
You know, here's the thing. This 47 million, 47%, excuse me, this needs more info because you can't just be, Republicans aren't going to win with putting that on a bumper sticker. The whole thing about 1/3 of the population, overlapping programs, the fact that an individual can actually receive more from government than most Americans have in discretionary income, let alone some middle-income salaries. When you're looking at $32,000 in possible payouts from government, some people don't even make $32,000. So why work?
Yeah. Well, this is the revolution here. It used to be that Walter Cronkite literally would end that 1/2 hour that you were allocated saying that's the way it is. Now people can get the facts for themselves. They can drive the story, and we don't have to depend on anybody from the top down to tell us what to think. It's all bottom up. We control the agenda. We educate ourselves. We don't depend on anybody else. That's the Tea Party ethos.
You know, the best part is when you remove the labels, Republican, Democrat, Conservative, Liberal, Tea Party, Occupy, the more you just talk to people and present them with information, you say, hey, look, we got half the population's not working at this point. You know, this is not about cruelty. We're not trying to throw grandma off a cliff or, you know, throw orphans out into the street or whatever it is. This is about something that doesn't function. The more you just place facts and information in front of people, leave the labels out, they're going to agree with you every time.
And I think people are getting nervous. Where's this money coming from? We know the Fed's pumping cash out. You know, the new QE 3, 4, 5, whatever it is right now, $2 trillion. Where's that money coming from? These are serious numbers. And if people are armed with the facts, they're going to be able to take the right action to get this under control.
You know, it's amazing when you start putting out numbers like a date in the year. These are all the days you have to work until you pay off your debt to the federal government. This is the number of hours that the economy is going to have to give to the taxation under Obamacare. When you start to make the numbers, all these big conceptual numbers simplistic, and I don't mean bumper sticker simplistic like, hey, this is how it applies to you. Again, no labels, backed up information, sourced from perhaps government freedom of information request. There's nobody that can deny this stuff.
Yeah, the most effective tool we use when we run political campaigns is actually a very substantial book that goes through the candidate's record, how they voted, what they said, what they think. It is not a bumper sticker because people now want to own that responsibility of knowing and understanding the data. This is power. This is a real radical democratization of the process that allows the most informed people to drive the process.
You know, you think about the effectiveness of Freedom Works and the Tea Party. I remember being there, and Jim DeMint was kind of relatively unknown, you know, outside of conservative circles. He spoke at that very first Tea Party in D.C., and from there he went on to be so influential. Rand Paul, Mike Lee, Ted Cruz, all these guys are, you know, part of that now. Well, Ted Cruz is running, but the Occupy people have gotten no one elected. They have not primaried anybody out. They've affected government in no way. As a matter of fact, it seems like the Democrats know how unpopular they are and are running away from them. Republicans, if they don't side with Freedom Works, they don't side with the Tea Party, the Liberty Movement, and reduce government, they get primaried out, they go.
That's right. It's all about individual responsibility. And if you want to know why Occupy hasn't functioned, it's because there was that sense of entitlement instead of that burden of individual responsibility that not only allows Tea Partiers to function, but they come together in voluntary association. They say, what's next? Next is get out the vote. What's next? Holding that guy accountable. There's a sense that this is not just a one-time event. We're not showing up to complain. We're showing up to wear that responsibility. We messed up first because we didn't show up. Now we're going to fix that.
You know, it's funny when